I would say in the early part of my career, the nice thing for me, I had a 5-year undercover operation. I was the online undercover agent, the case agent. I did everything. I was the only person on that case, and I did all pieces of it because at that time, they didn't know how to manage cyber cases, especially online undercovers. I never met with anybody individually, personally, as an undercover agent, online undercover agent. I simply talked with them online. So there was never the face-to-face, so I didn't have to go through the 2-week undercover school and get undercover certified. I did have to get have a psych evaluation once a year, which you'll be surprised to know that I passed and wasn't a problem. But again, they didn't know how to do cyber investigation, how to do online undercovers. I was one of the, I'd not say the first one, but I was pretty early in. We started doing online undercovers in 92, 93 with what was called innocent images, which had to do with finding pedophiles online, essentially, for the easy way to put that. But then when I got in, it went to more criminal activity online that we could attack that had priority status.
Darren, 20 years in the FBI. Why? What made you want to join the FBI?
We're starting right with that. We're not even saying what we're doing.
Nope, just straight into it.
Okay.
Straight into it, mate.
All right. Well, I was a high school teacher, and my wife, we had one child and a second child on the way. And every summer doing high school teaching was always find a second job, right? So I always had a second job and doing all this other stuff. And my wife and I were sitting around the kitchen table one day, and we're like, is this what our life's going to be like? Like, I'm going to stay home with the kids, and you're going to go to work, and you're going to come home, and you're going to go rollerblade for exercise, and then we're going to do repeat. And I said, I don't know, maybe. And then I was teaching summer school at the time, so it was me and another teacher. We're teaching a biology class of like 40 kids. So he would do most of the lecturing, and I would do the testing and all the administrative stuff. So we kind of had to split out that way. So he was doing some presentation on something, the lights were off, and I was on a Mac 2E computer with an internet connection, and I ended up on the FBI webpage, and it said, now accepting applications for special agents. And I always thought maybe I should go into law enforcement. I didn't really want to be a state trooper or anything like that, and this was more of a, obviously, higher level law enforcement thing, and I'm like, the worst they can say is no. So I applied. Went through the phases that you have to do to go through that. If you want to hear what those phases are, we can, but I don't need to bore everybody with the phases of trying to get to the FBI. I do remember one teacher, the head of the math department, found out I had applied to the FBI, and he said, hey, you're a 30-year-old white guy. Good luck with that. Because even then, in 1990s, diversity was still something people thought about. So August of 1998, I applied. September of 1999, I was walking through the doors at Quantico to become an FBI agent.
So when you were applying for the job at FBI, was there a thought, because you said you wanted to work at higher level, you don't want to work at state trooper level, you wanted to work at higher level, was there a thought, should I put an application into CIA or NSA, or was it just FBI you were thinking?
Just FBI. Because CIA had a different mission. I knew their mission was different. I didn't want to travel overseas. I had no interest in any of that. I wanted a law enforcement piece where, the mission of the FBI is good people trying to stop bad guys from doing bad things to other good people, right? And so that was kind of the draw, is to be able to I mean, as a teacher, you're helping people, right? You're trying to teach kids. I still had that desire in me to try to help people, but this was a better calling for helping than I felt teaching was, because I had only been teaching 7 years, but I was getting tired of it. The foolishness, the parents, all that stuff.
So when you were in the FBI, let's say the first 2 years in your career, were your expectations met, or were they exceeded, or were you expecting more?
Oh, no, they were exceeded. It was great. It was better than I thought it would be. It was a lot of anonymity, not anonymity, a lot of, I'm kind of an introvert, so being able to work my own cases by myself was good, but obviously you had squad mates that you could help do stuff. So there was still the group camaraderie type of work, but there was also your own work. And so it was, I loved it. It was great. Had no complaints whatsoever. It was awesome.
Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the end of your career, but we will come back. So by the time you finished your career in the FBI, were your expectations met? or exceeded or under par?
I'd say exceeded. I mean, I tell everybody, anybody who ever asked, if they wanted to go in the FBI, I said, it's great. It's a great job. It's a great organization. You should do it. Now, I will say in the last couple of years, it's harder to say that because of leadership things and stuff like that is a little more complicated. But it always comes down to the people who work at the FBI. All right. Well, I have a spam call. If we want to take a spam call in the middle of this,
Let's do it. Mid-interview spam call.
All right. Hopefully you can hear it. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, this is Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm a little bloated. How are you?
You may qualify for the state-regulated final expense insurance plan. That's going to cover 100% of your funeral, burial, and cremation expenses. Now, are you between the ages of 40 and 80?
Yes.
It's like a game of Guess Who. Do you wear glasses?
Just a second. Let me get one of the specialists over the phone to give you the quote.
Okay. Now, he can't hear you, so if you have things you want me to ask, let me know, because he can't hear you. I think you can hear him, but he can't hear you. Oh, hey.
Is that not a woman?
Thanks for holding. This is Mark, whom I have a pleasure of speaking with today.
Henry?
Henry, your call just transferred to me.
Okay.
And I understand you are interested in having some more information about some affordable final expense insurance. Right, Henry?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. What was your name? I forgot your name. What was your name already? I have very bad Alzheimer's. What was your name again, sir?
It's Mark.
Mark. Good, Mark. Okay, I gotta say, I'll probably have to say your name many times, Mark, just to remember. But yes, I'm interested in more information, Mark. Oh, you hung up, bastard. Well, that's unfortunate.
You know what I was gonna say? You should have said to him, you should address me as Henry VIII.
Yeah. Well, the next time I'm gonna say my name's Nigel. If another call comes in, I'm gonna say my name's Nigel. So I will say that for this podcast, I have my phone set up so when my spam calls come, we can talk to them. So we may be inundated with several of these as we go, but that's all right. And I have no idea what was the question we were talking about? Oh, the people, right? There was always the people were good. I mean, you're always going to have good people you work. You're always going to have idiots too. Let's be honest. Those guys are going to exist, but that's every organization. If you think you're going to find an organization where that I love everybody and everybody does the right thing and all the leaders are awesome, those don't exist. So certainly we had bad leaders in the FBI. Have plenty of those stories, but I had good leaders too. And I like to think I was a good leader for I was a leader in leadership for 12 years.
So the spam calls that keep coming through, you enjoy taking them, you get pleasure from doing them. Does that come from a career in the FBI where you've seen potential victims from cyber crimes, but it's like sometimes they just have to get a taste of their own medicine?
Yes, absolutely. That's absolutely right. How can I get in the way of what they're doing? I can't really think of the word, right? My Alzheimer's now kicking in clearly. Can I, distract them from what they're supposed to do and just waste their time? Can I waste their time so it's fun? I mean, when we're done with this, I'm going to turn my setting back off so I don't get them anymore. That's only turned on for the sake of content. Let's be honest. That's the only reason that's turned on is for content options.
Love it. So you were talking earlier about the leadership in the FBI in the last couple of years is questionable. Can you give maybe one or two particular examples that makes you question that?
So in the field, so you have basically three distinct entities of the FBI. You have the field offices, which are the 56 field offices. I think it might be 55 now because two of them merged into one since I've retired. But it used to be when I was there, it was 56 field offices. They did the investigative work. Headquarters was the administrative entity that would get you money, would help you with overseas contacts and do the stuff administratively that you couldn't do in a field office. And then you had the legal attachés, which were FBI agents and personnel assigned to embassies overseas to be the liaison to law enforcement there. Okay, so those three entities. All investigative work takes place in the field offices. Towards the end of my career, there were a lot of politically oriented douchebags in leadership that decided to run cases from FBI headquarters. The whole thing with the Trump dossier, the Hillary Clinton, there's a ton of different stuff that I can use as examples. But that's not what FBI headquarters is for. Now, sure, they can manage major cases, and I was involved in two major cases during my career. they oversaw the administrative piece of it, but they didn't run the investigations. The investigations for those major cases were field office investigations. And so the field office agents ran that investigative piece. The headquarter piece was kind of to oversee coordination of it all. They didn't manage it. I mean, well, they managed it from a coordination perspective, not from a here's how you should investigate it perspective. And so that's where it kind of went downhill towards the end of my career, when there was too much politicization of the organization. Now, people will say that's been going on forever with the FBI, and sure, I mean, Hoover had his issues with the mob. I mean, there's certainly things that were done incorrectly. And I would say in the early part of my career, the nice thing for me, I had a 5-year undercover operation. I was the online undercover agent, the case agent. I did everything. I was the only person on that case, and I did all pieces of it, because at that time, they didn't know how to manage cyber cases, especially online undercovers. I never met with anybody individually, personally, as an undercover agent, online undercover agent. I simply talked with them online. So there was never the face-to-face, so I didn't have to go through the 2-week undercover school and get undercover certified. I did have to get have a psych evaluation once a year, which you'd be surprised to know that I passed and wasn't a problem. But again, they didn't know how to do cyber investigation, how to do online undercovers. I was one of the, I'd not say the first one, but I was pretty early in. We started doing online undercovers in 92, 93 with what was called innocent images, which had to do with finding pedophiles online, essentially, for the easy way to put that. But then when I got in, it went to more criminal activity online that we could attack that had priority status. So yeah, that's a long answer to your question. So there you go.
No, perfectly fine. So I'm glad you brought this up, because I actually wanted to discuss this with you at some point. So the security industry as a whole, the professionals I find are very passionate about what they do. They're very caring individuals, and they almost want to try and save the world.
Sure.
But there's pillars, there's barriers that stops that from being achieved. And there's so many rabbit holes you can go down from that being achieved successfully. And I think when you've had a career in the security profession, it doesn't even have to be government level. It could be at any level where you're in the security profession. There's one case, there's one story where it sticks with you. You remember it. If I say to you, remember that one case where you remember it, and it probably affected you in some capacity, can you recall what that case was? Because I'm thinking, if you were doing the paedophile hunting, you must have seen some gruesome things that you've got kids yourself, you don't want to come across that. Can you recall one case, if you're able to talk about it, where it was just like this? It's almost like you walked out the office, went home, and it stayed on your mind that whole night.
Well, yeah, it's the 5-year undercover, because I did everything on it. I mean, I built the computer network. I built 12 terabytes worth of computer stuff with the assistance of a source. I'm not going to say it was just me. He certainly helped with stuff, and I had some other folks that helped there was a lot of people that helped from a data perspective. And in other words, at some point I had tons of data I had to collate through. So people from headquarters came down and helped me program like a Google search for all of my data. But I did 90% of the techie work on it. And when it would go down, I would have to drive out in the middle of the night and reboot it or whatever. I mean, it was 2001 to 2006 timeframe. So it was a long time ago, and I built everything from scratch. So when I needed a 1 terabyte server, I went and bought the CPU, the motherboard, 1,000 gig drives that would equate to a terabyte. I would install them. I would RAID them. I would put on the operating system, which was Linux. I would connected them to mirrored server. I mean, it was a whole thing. So that's always going to be the one, because I spent the most time on it. I got an Attorney General's award for it, for investigations. We ended up arresting people all over the world. Like I said, it was part of 2 major cases, the only one. So we had two back-to-back cyber takedowns in 2004, 2005. My case was the only one that was involved in both. The first one, it was me and a couple other field offices. The second one, it was me and different field offices. All the same. It was all intellectual property stuff. But first year, we took down domestic people. And then the second year, we took down domestic people plus overseas folks. So, yeah, I remember that one most vividly. But there's other ones. I was a program manager, FBI headquarters, and I assisted a field office with another undercover that had to do with a botnet. And that one I remember vividly simply because I got to go to the Netherlands twice to do the operational piece of it, which was it was fun in the sense I didn't do anything other than sit in a room all day and watch the Dutch police do their thing, but it was fun watching it. It was, the outcome was fun. I had an FBI agent who had to fly in a plane from Washington field office. From Washington to Amsterdam with $37,000 in cash. That he said he never left his seat to even go to the bathroom because he was afraid of losing the money. So, because we use that to pay the botnet.
So, is there a particular case that you can recall that affected you? And it's like, when you speak to businesses or people and you're explaining cybersecurity and the repercussions that come with it.
Sure.
When a business just doesn't get it, they think, I don't care. There's that case that comes to your head where you think, you think of what that victim went through, the emotions at that time in the room, what they went through, and you think, I don't want this person to go through what that person went through, but they're not listening to me.
I got you. Okay, I understand. Yes, so it's not a case because the case never started, but it's an interview I had with a victim. And if you read my book, Get Cyber Smart, a user-friendly guide to protecting yourself, your business, and your family online, or your family, your business, and yourself online, it's the first story I mentioned, and it has to do with a lady who walked into the Cleveland field office with her neighbor. Her neighbor brought her in, and basically, the long story short, she had sent $200,000 overseas because she thought she'd won a lottery, that she got an email on winning the lottery. And I knew at that point there was nothing that we could do. We were never getting her money back. She had no evidence of the emails. We had nothing to track. It was going to Africa. Let's be honest. It was Nigerian scam kind of thing. We're never going to track it. We're never going to get the money back. And I had to tell her, sorry, but this happened 2 months ago, and you're now telling me about it. The trail's gone. The trail is over. Stop sending the money. But so that one, people don't understand. I realized then people really don't understand the threats and the risks and their vulnerabilities and all that stuff. And so that's the one that sticks with me as far as where I really knew I need to educate people more. They may not listen. And certainly we've had this conversation many times. We educate a lot of people. They don't listen. But all you can do is try. I'm going to a presentation tomorrow to talk to a bunch of lawyers about the threats to them. Very few, I'm sure, will listen to what I have to, or they'll listen to what I have to say, but they won't do anything about it. One or two may, but not too many. But that's just it's the world we're in.
So see, because I've experienced this myself, so I know exactly where you're coming from on this one, but when you're speaking to businesses, so use the law firms as an example that you're speaking to tomorrow, and you tell them all this, and they still walk away and do nothing. What is that feeling like? Is it frustration? Is it anger? Is it just like, I feel like giving up, but I don't want to give up? What is that feeling like?
Yeah, it's frustration, but but I'm numb to it at this point. And it's having this issue for 14 years. So I'm kind of numb, and you just keep plugging forward. Hopefully you'll get a couple people, because every once in a while you get someone that says, hey, that was really helpful. This helped me. You protected this. Like I had a friend of a mother of a friend of my wife who found a guy on Facebook, and she was convinced that he might be the one. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. And so we had her come over to the house, and I tried to walk her through, this is why this is a bogus profile. She goes, well, but he hasn't asked me for any money, so I don't see what the problem is. And he had 169 people he followed on Facebook, but no actual friends. All right, we got another scam call if you want to try it.
Yep, remember you're Henry VIII.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead. Hello.
Hey, Sabrina here. How's your day going?
Yeah, I'm a little constipated, but how about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I am reaching out because we're offering new state regulated insurance plans designed to provide cash benefits to families during difficult times. So can you please tell me how old you are?
71.
I was going to say 72.
71.
That's great.
Oh.
You are qualified. My supervisor is on the line to help you compare the plans. Just give me a second, okay?
I may even
This is your biggest achievement of your life. You have qualified for this.
I'm going to use my British accent.
Go for it. I really wish I could talk to them because it would just chuck them.
You are deemed to be qualified for the new plan. Just a second while I bring my supervisor in. Here we go.
Boom! Here we go. Here comes the bomb.
Thank you so much for staying on the line. This is Isaac. I'm a final expense product specialist, and I will be happy to assist you for the final expense cards. How are you?
I'm good, Isaac. How are you? Thanks so much for taking the call.
You're welcome, sir. I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. So we are appointed with an independent insurance brokerage that is appointed with 40 different insurance companies and licensed in all 50 states, and we are helping about 2,000 families a year for their whole life insurance. May I know how old are you? What's your age?
71.
69. 69.
Can you repeat it again? How old
Yes,
are you?
71.
71. And what's your date of birth? Your birth date?
June 3rd.
June 3rd. And what's the year that you're born in?
I don't know, what, 71 years ago from today?
Mm-hmm. Are you sure you are 71-year-old?
I don't know. I have
19
Alzheimer's.
1944.
It's hard to 44. Okay, it's 44. No, crap. I screwed that one up. Sorry. That's my bad. I didn't think he'd quiz me. I didn't know math would be involved. I was unaware math would be involved in this. So, oh well. Another fail.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Right. Back onto the questions. Try and get this done before more scammers come in.
Yeah.
Try.
We don't take any more calls.
Yeah. Oh, this is like a cybersecurity call center, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, back to the questions.
Yeah.
So you chose to go into cybersecurity. Why?
After the FBI?
No, you did cybersecurity in the FBI.
Well, I mean, so I didn't necessarily choose it per se. I got lucky to get into it. So when you get to the new agent training, they have you go through and say, okay, what are your skills? What can you do? So you had to, like, I was a radio DJ, very good at software, very good at hardware, whatever, that kind of stuff. I understand computers. And at the time, they were opening a new field office in Charlotte with a cyber squad. And I was the only one in my class that really liked the cyber-oriented stuff. Everybody else kind of was like, well, when are we done with this? And I'm like, let's give me more. So because of that particular aptitude, they put me on a cyber squad, and it was what I wanted to do. If I'd have done, Chinese organized crime, I'd have done that. I'd have done whatever they told me to do. But I think I would have ultimately tried to get to cybersecurity because I liked computers. I liked understanding how computers worked. I knew that cybercrime was kind of a newish thing. And so I lucked out, got on a cyber squad, and never looked back. I did do counterintelligence towards the end, but it was largely counterintelligence with a cyber piece. It was more cyber counterintelligence. So that's kind of I was not a traditional, I didn't sit in a lookout and watch the Chinese embassy 24 hours a day and mark when the ambassador left or any of that stuff from a counterintelligence perspective. I didn't follow guys doing dead drops. All my counterintelligence stuff was largely cyber oriented.
Okay. So reflecting back on your FBI career, what was the number one lesson that you learned that you feel like had you not done an FBI career, you would not have learned that lesson?
I don't know. That's a deep question, Mike. I don't know if I have the mental deepness to answer that question appropriately for you.
You've got to go there, mate. You've got to go there. This is the whole point of this podcast. We're going there.
I don't know. It helps solidify some things I already knew about. I mean, I already knew going in that I was very much a builder of things, if you will. Like I did a lot of, like when I was teaching, I built programs that didn't exist before to help at-risk kids try to get through science class, stuff like that. In the Bureau, the online Undercover I built all that from scratch, the idea, the plan, how to put it together. When I went back to headquarters a second time to create a new unit that was cyber counterintelligence, I had no roadmap for that. I just kind of created it. So it kind of showed that I have the ability to create things from nothing with very little whatever. Now, in the business world on my own, I haven't been tremendously successful at that yet, but we're still working on it. So it is what it is.
So I feel like I'm going to know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Do you regret joining the FBI?
No,
Or
of
do you
course,
look
no,
back
of
at it?
course not. No. And I will say, I don't regret even leaving when I did. I left as soon as I was eligible to retire, simply because I saw where I was going leadership wise. I had to step out of my leadership role anyway. If I wanted to stay in leadership, I had to go back to headquarters, and I was not doing that. There was one time in 2013 where I was looking for other jobs because I was in a position I could not stand at all. And it had nothing to do with cyber counterintelligence. I was in the inspection division. So I was basically internal affairs for a year, and it sucked as bad as anything you can imagine. But it was a necessary requirement within the leadership ranks at the time, even though I didn't proceed past it at all. So in the last 6 months of my career, I actually stepped down from my manager position back to just a plain agent, and lost, I don't know, a couple $1,000 from a salary perspective. But I knew as soon as I retired, I would get that money back pretty quickly. So as soon as I was eligible, I knew that my skill set was unique and I would probably find a job, and I found a job early. So it was good. I probably would have stayed in that job, except they changed what they were doing, and it really didn't fit what I was wanting to do. So that's kind of why I left it. But that's a different story for a different time.
So, as we're recording, it's the 6th of November 2025. If the FBI called you today and said, could you come back, would you go back?
Depends on what they're asking me to do. There actually is some talk now to bring back former agents within the cyber division to do some stuff. But I talked to a friend of mine who mentioned to me, I go, what's it look like? Like, if it's, what are you paying us? I mean, because it's, there's certainly the advantages, and we'd be contractors, but I don't know. I mean, if we can't accomplish anything, what would be the point? If we're just going to bang my head against the wall for a year or 2 years because hey, we should do it this way. This would work. And like, yeah, no, we can't do that because we don't have any money or we don't have whatever. Then why go through the agony? Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's
also.
also.
If I'm honest, they can't afford me at this point. So who can?
Yeah, you're on rockstar wages now. You're on Hollywood wages.
I don't know about that, but yeah. In order to go back from 8 hours to do 8 hours a day for 5 days a week, they can't. They won't be able to. They wouldn't pay me enough, I don't think.
Really? Really? Okay. So you wouldn't go back for the passion and the love of cybersecurity. The money's got to be right as well.
Well, no, the passion is still to stop bad guys from doing bad things to good people. I don't think the leadership exists to further that goal, right? It's just kind of a lot of box checking and, DEI-ing and whatever. So.
Yeah. Okay. So this, you must have thought this during your career, because I certainly thought this, right? Crime is an endless road, right? There's no full stop at the end of the sentence. There's no wall at the end that you're going to hit. So you kind of, did you ever feel like, what is the point in this? Because it's like, it's like if you bring down a criminal gang, a new one's just going to pop up. Probably 3 more are going to pop up, not just that one, 3 more are going to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, what's the point? Did you feel like that through your career, or even reflecting now? Like, what's the point?
No, because there's got to be guardians. There's always been bad people doing bad things. There's always got to be guardians to protect the people. So I never went into it saying, well, I can't wait. I don't know what I'm going to do when the cyber problem ends, but I'll figure it out then. Because I knew it would continue, and it's going to continue. I mean, if you're working drugs, you're working counterterrorism. It's not like you're saying there'll be an end to this at some point. I'm going to have to find something else to do, because history has shown human beings are human beings. There will be people that do bad things. There will always be people that do bad things, and there will always be a need for people to do the good things to stop the bad people from doing the bad things.
Amen to that. So after your career in the FBI, you then went into private sector.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the same thing. I went from government in the private sector. And did you notice massive differences? And if you did, what was the differences you noticed?
Well, the only difference was the pay was better. Let's be honest. But
of course.
That was better.
Yeah.
But like the leave was worse. The benefits were worse in a sense. Well,
Yep.
the health, but some of the benefits I didn't need, because retiring from the FBI, you get health benefits for life anyway. So I didn't need that stuff. So, but I know people that weren't retired government who went to work for this company, like, this medical plan kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So
Sure.
there's those things that are worse. But as far as, there's just different type of bureaucracies. There's different bureaucracies, and I'm sure there are people that went into a job afterwards that are like, this is great. I mean, some of those people are going to be people that they have companies that are like, hey, and we just want FBI. We just want FBI on. And I was like kind of like this. I was FBI on retainer. They could say they had an FBI guy, right? So there wasn't a lot demanded of me per se initially, although I did a lot to try to provide value, but it was pulling teeth to say, what can I do to help with this stuff? And when I first got to my post FBI job, I said, hey, here's some things we can do that we can monetize this idea, and it just never went anywhere. So I kind of realized pretty quickly on that I was largely FBI on retainer. So if they had a potential contract that had an FBI nexus, they could say, hey, tell us how this would work from the FBI, which was fine. And then I ended up being promoted into a leadership position. So I was able to kind of lead people ultimately, which I'm fairly good at. So that was pretty good. But it's all, like I said at the beginning, you're going to have bad leaders, you're going to have good leaders. Some companies just have FBI mouthpieces. They go out and just do mouthpiece stuff and don't really accomplish much. But if that's what they like to do, good for them. I mean, you don't have to do it. If you don't like it, and that's what I figured out after year and a half. No, was it 2 years? I forget how long I was in that position, that role specifically, but I'm like, this is not working for me anymore. So, and I'm no good to you either. If I'm not, I'm not going to say I, quietly quit, but it was hard to accomplish anything with my attitude at the time. So it was better for me just to leave the company and do my own thing. Plus I had built some stuff up that allowed me to go and do some of my own stuff. So that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So overall, which one do you think is better to work in, government or private sector?
Depends on what you want to do and how much you want to make and what you're willing to give up. So
in your experience, which one was better?
They both have, I can't say one's better than the other because they both have advantages. I mean, in the FBI, we were working, 60, 70 hours a week. But we enjoyed it. But some of the benefits were good. In the private sector job, if I wanted to come in at 6 and leave at 3, I could. No one cared, as long as I got my time in. So it didn't matter when that. But like the FBI had specific time, you had to be there for specific time periods. So there's a little more freedom in the private sector, but not all private sector companies are like that either. Some are like, no, you will be here from 7:15 to 4:30, and that's when your core hours are. So I didn't have that situation, so I can't compare it correctly because I had some leeway in what I was doing. Part of it was, again, I was FBI on retainer. They just were happy to have me. So
Brilliant. So now, I remember when we had our first call, you were working at that private sector business. You were in your office.
No, let's not talk that. No, I was at home talking to you, if you remember correctly.
No, you were not. You were in your office, shirt and tie, looking all professional, playing the part.
I don't think you remember that correctly. I think I came home with my shirt and tie and had it. And I guarantee you I was not wearing a shirt and tie because I didn't wear a shirt and tie at that job. So you're already way off. I was talking to you.
Nah.
Okay,
you were in your
office. If we're going down this line of questioning, next week when I do this to you, I'm going to use certain acronyms and we'll make you happy. So how do you want to continue with this question?
We'll leave it there. You have trumped me. You have checkmated me on a chessboard. We'll leave it there then. No worries.
We can still talk about the first conversation.
Yeah, well, okay, that's fine then. We'll leave that about then.
Where it was really irrelevant. It's the point of the conversation that's important.
Of course, absolutely. So when we were talking, I even got the impression then on that conversation that you weren't overly happy at that job.
Yeah, because that was like 2.5 months before I quit. So yeah, I was heading down that road as it was. I think we even had that conversation. I'm like, I'm not going to do this forever. I'm not going to do it much longer.
Yeah. Because then you talked about you were setting up your own farm, but you'd already been previously doing it, but you'd never really put much effort into it. It was just kind of there, but you were going to sort of revamp it again.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, we started having conversations, and then we ended up starting Five Eyes. Now, when you joined the FBI, you had that North Star, right? It was kind of like save the world in the cyber world.
Yep.
What's the North Star for you when it comes to Five Eyes? What is it you want to achieve that if you look back, it's like, I'm happy with that?
Well, it's the same idea, right? It goes back to the lady who walked in the Cleveland field office. She didn't know what she didn't know, and she got hosed. Let's be honest. So how do we help businesses not be that lady? I mean, we've already talked to companies that are going to be that lady because they're not going to listen to us, and it is what it is. But I'm willing to keep having conversations with businesses and people to say, here's things you can do to protect yourself, and that's what I like doing. How do I, and again, it's building something, right? It's okay. How do we take this kernel of an idea and make it something that builds to something, right? Right now we're a 0 terabyte server. How do we get to a 12 terabyte server farm? How do we create that? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help build a 12 terabyte server farm.
So we've had conversations where our goal was to try and exit no more than 7 years. 5 to 7 years is our exit plan, right?
Sure.
So at the end of that 7 years, you look back. What is it you would like to look back and say, I'm happy with that, I achieved something? Is it literally what you just said there, or is there more?
I'm a simple man, Michael. Simple man with simple goals. If at the end of that 5 or 7 years, I can say we put a bunch of companies in a better place than they were beforehand, their path forward looks good, and I can just go play pickleball anytime I want now and not have to have calls with sales call or do LinkedIn posts to say, hey.
Hey. You love your LinkedIn posts.
Yes, I don't have to do LinkedIn DMs. LinkedIn will not exist for me in 7 years. You will not be able to find me. Then I will have met what I wanted to do. You know, I can take my wife to places that aren't ruined by the current world political situations for enjoyment. Like if I could go to London and not worry about getting my phone stolen and knife attacked, then that'd be great. If not there, I'll go somewhere else where it's a little safer. So
where would you go? Where would be the first country to go to?
Switzerland.
Very safe in Switzerland.
Because my wife, daughter, and my mother went on a tour of the UK, France, Switzerland, and Rome, but they only spent like a day in Switzerland because it kind of was a pass through from France to Rome. And my wife's like, I'd love to come back here. And I would like to go. Switzerland sounds like a cool place. I would like to go there. Maybe not to ski, too old for skiing, but certainly see the sights. I've been to Russia. Don't need to go back there again. Not going to lie. Been to Estonia. I would go back to Estonia. It's pretty cool, but it's kind of close to Russia, so maybe not really. Sweden, Denmark, Finland. Those would be kind of cool places to go. Iceland. Like to see Iceland. No desire to go to South America. I've been there. I'm good. Brazil, Argentina. Nah, no need to go back.
Do you not recommend South America, no?
Depends on what you want to do. If you just want to, I mean, Argentina, Buenos Aires was pretty cool. Brazil, I mean, we went to Brasilia in Brazil. I would not go to Brasilia. If you want to go to Rio or what's the other big Brazilian city? Rio, and there's another big one, but whatever. If you want to go to one of those, that's fine. That's cool for you. But, you know, the rest of them, I'm sure, don't go to the Triangle. Don't go to Paraguay, Uruguay, and whatever the third Guay is there. Don't go to that area. That's kind of bad. But I have no desire really to go to Africa. There's nothing there that is of desirous to me. Certainly not going to the Middle East. My wife would like to go to Israel. I'm happy to pay for her to go with some friends, but I'm not going to there.
Yeah. Treat yourself. Yeah.
So Europe. I would go to. I mean, you know, I'm obviously of European descent in some way, shape, or form. So I'd go to Ireland, Scotland. I guess unless they keep going the way they're going, I guess I won't ever go there. But I don't know. I've been to Milan. I've been to Venice. Where else have I been? I've been to Amsterdam. I don't need to go back there. I walked around the red light district. It was entertaining, if nothing else. But I would go to Germany. I've been through Germany, but only through the airport. I haven't really stopped and seen anything there.
Germany is quality. It's a great country.
Vienna sounds like it'd be cool. Or Prague would be cool, I think. But I will say this, I'm not much of a traveler. My wife likes to travel. I am not much of a traveler, so I'm bad travel. I would tell people when we would go on trips with the FBI, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a bad travel companion. Don't expect me to do. I went to South Korea, never left a hotel. Because I was jet lagged. I was jet lagged the whole time. And we were only there for like 3 days. I couldn't get over the jet lag. And they went to the DMZ, and I said, I'm not going. I'm just going back to bed. And I couldn't fall asleep. It sucked. I mean, I would probably, but again, I don't really desire us to go back to South Korea either, just because the flight sucks. But you know, again, I'm a bad traveler. Don't go traveling with me. I suck. I mean, my friends in the FBI will say, yeah, he was not a lot of fun. UK, I'm going to London. I did a lot of stuff in London. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you know, when somebody asks me, it's like, where would you like to go? It's a weird one for me, right? I would love to go to countries that I'm not allowed to go to. Like, I would love to go to Russia, China, because there's a lot of historical value there.
Sure.
And the culture is so different to the West. It's like, even like China, for example, like the martial arts history would be cool to go and see, you know, with the samurais and mixed martial arts. It'd be great to go and see that. But it's like, I'm not allowed to step foot in those countries. And it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm not allowed to do it that I want to do it, or it's because I genuinely really want to do it. That's a good point. Is there countries that you're now not allowed to visit from exiting FBR? You've got free reign.
Sure, but why would I go to any of them? Hey, let's go to Iran. Let's see how they're doing. Yeah, I'm not going there. Not going back to Russia. They're not big fans of the U.S. folks anymore. I've seen enough of Russia to see enough of it, and China doesn't do much for me. Now, I will say, like, if Five Eyes like kicks off in 4 years, and some Chinese company says, "Hey, can you come help us out? We'll pay for your whole trip," I'll probably go. What the hell? Yeah, sure. I mean, if it's all paid for, absolutely go. But I might spend my own money to go and go through that mess.
I really hope it's not you that picks up that email, because that's just asking for a hostage situation straight away. You're like, Mike, we should go to China. We should go to China 2 weeks. Yeah. All inclusive. It'll be great. Let's go for it.
All right, Qatar. Let's go to Qatar. How about that? Let's go to Qatar conference in Qatar.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Well, as you say, we're here for a good time, not a long time. We've probably been doing this now for about 45 minutes. Is that right?
41.
So I think it's probably a good time to cut it off now. But before we go, is there anything you want to finish up on?
Yeah, I will say, so we didn't talk about this at the beginning, but we're kind of changing the podcast format here, and it's going to be interviewing cybersecurity professionals. So for these first two,
professionals.
Security, I'm sorry, yes, security, physical security, threat intelligence, all that kind of stuff. So Mike interviewed me this week. I'm going to interview him next week. He doesn't know I didn't know his questions. He won't know my questions. He'll probably reject a lot of my questions outright because of particular laws in the UK that are archaic and stupid, but whatever. I mean, that's why they lost the Revolutionary War, I guess. So if you are in the cybersecurity, the physical security, the threat intelligence world, we want to talk to you. We want to, talk about your company, talk about what you do, talk about the value you bring to security in general. Even though we talk cybersecurity a lot, because that's my specialty area, Mike's specialty area is the other two, physical security and threat intelligence. So we'll talk about that more next week. But we want to blend those two things together because our company, Five Eyes, let's be honest, that's what we do. 360 security, we do all those things. But we're not here to talk about that. I mean, it's kind of what started this, but we want to talk to other security professionals. So, if you find interest in this, it'll be similar type stuff, but we will provide you the questions beforehand. We're not going to surprise you. We'll give you the questions, things we want to talk about, but it helps people learn. It helps to educate because we're also an educational company. We're trying to teach people to understand the threats targeting them so they can assess their risk, proceed wisely. And that's kind of how we're rolling forward. So again, if it's something that sounds interesting to you, let me know. You can email me, Darren. I'm sorry, it's not even that. It's dmott@fiveeyesltd.com or Michael M@fiveeyesltd.com, or find us on LinkedIn. It's not hard to find. And say, hey, can I come on your podcast? I've got a couple people lined up that are interested, so that shouldn't be a problem going forward. And that's all I got.
Well, that's it for this week. It was a pleasure to interview, Darren. I liked your transparency and your openness. I don't think you're going to get the same from me next week. However, we will see how we get on.
All right. Sounds good.
Let's roll it out. Cut.